What's up guys, it's the Salukie.
Hello.
Hello.
Kênh YouTube của chú là gì đây?
Coming at you from Hanoi, Vietnam. And today, I'm gonna talk about my top 5 most dangerous travel experiences. If you've been following my channel for a while now, then you'll know that I do a bunch of sketchy stuff while traveling. But I've been traveling long before I had a YouTube channel. So today, I want to share some stories from back then. Alright, so let's take a seat and have us a chat. This is a cool little spot that I come to sometimes just to hang out and watch the sunset, I suppose. It seems like there's some hidden treasure over here in the trash. Vietnamese dishes. I'm gonna take this home actually. What a find. See this? Yeah, ashtray. Even though I don't smoke, for the guests. Alright, yeah, let's get into the video. This one actually says Phước, if I'm saying that right, which means happiness. Unexpectedly wholesome. Excuse the excessive sweating. It's because when I'm filming, even in a hot country, you'll see me walking around with short sleeves because I feel so self-conscious. All of the people looking at me and stuff, it makes me anxious and I start sweating. So now in a tropical, well, Hanoi isn't tropical, but in a hot country, I'm like sweating my ass off. Alright, so story number 1. I was in Ethiopia and I was traveling the country with a local buddy, Thomas. I don't know if he watches my videos, but I'll post a picture on the screen if I have a picture with him, if I can find a picture with him. At the time, there were protests at the borders of Addis Ababa, the capital, Addis Ababa. There were protesters. I'm not sure why. It was sort of like an uprising or... yeah, I don't know, I can't recall. There were simply protests. And the protests were not so peaceful. They were burning tires and stuff. And it was a pretty violent protest type thing. So basically we were at the border of leaving Addis Ababa and the borders were closed off. But you could like get closer to the protesters. So I convinced my buddy to do that because I wanted to, you know, see it for myself, see what's going on. So we got in a really cramped taxi with like 6 other people to do those 1-2 kilometers to the place where the protests were happening. And when we got there, there was like this violent mob of about 20 people. They started banging on the taxi driver's car, and there were, I didn't understand at the time, obviously they're speaking Amharic, but they were saying, give me all your money or we're gonna turn your car over and burn your car. At the time I wasn't really scared because I didn't really know what was going on. I just saw like a bunch of guys banging on the car. Let me just shake the sweat off. Alright, number 2. This happened quite recently. When I was filming, I just wasn't filming this because I was having a night out. So this happened in Chisinau, Moldova. Chisinau, however you want to say it. I spent about 2 weeks in Chisinau, if I'm not mistaken. And while I was there, I also wanted to, you know, go out, experience the nightlife, which is something I do in most countries that have a nightlife. So I typed on Reddit. I made a post like, hey guys, where's a cool bar where I can meet locals? And then I went to said bar that people recommended to me, and I had a really good time. I met this guy, maybe he also watches my videos, Gerald, I think he does. Shout out to you, Gerald. Anyway, I met this African-American guy called Gerald, who was living in Moldova at the time. Yeah, we made friends, you know, hung out for a couple more nights. And then we went to the same bar again a few nights later. And after we'd stepped out of the bar, there was a sort of like a street fight going on. Fucking mosquitoes, man. Sorry guys. Anyway, I digress. There was a street fight going on between 2 huge guys, like I'm talking at least 2 meters. So there was a fight going on, and my man Gerald was like, you know, having a laugh about it, making some jokes like, hey man, he was saying like, hey man, where I'm from, they just pull out guns, you know? They'd be pulling out guns at this point, and you know, he was like having a laugh and shit. And then the guy who was in the fight came up to us and he was like, what funny? So then he started threatening us and he said a lot of racist shit, like, go back Africa, div Africa, da, ya racist, like in Russian, yeah? It got like really intense. I had a few drinks and I was like, I stood up to the guy like this, you know, I was like ready to fight him. I don't know why, like that's the dumbest thing you can do when you're in a foreign country, but yeah, that's just what it was. And Gerald was more chill. He was like, man, I don't want no smoke. I'm just visiting. Maybe I should video call him and get his take on it instead of doing an impression. But yeah, he was like, I don't want no smoke. And that was the end of that. Luckily, we got out of that situation unscathed. Number 3. This was actually in Cambodia, which is not too far from us here in Vietnam. We were in Siem Reap. I was in Siem Reap, the city in Cambodia that has all the temples like Angkor Wat, where Lara Croft was filmed. And you know, having a blast, meeting people in a hostel. I met some expats in a hostel, some people that were living there. Some of them like 4 years, 2 years, you know, teaching English, whatever, working online. And we decided to go hang out in a lotus lake. You know, one of those lotus lakes where it's just pretty, I guess. And there's a lot of mosquitoes, and then you, after 20 minutes, you say, let's get the fuck out of here, I'm being bitten to bits like I am right now. Anyway, oh, and you can order drinks and stuff. So when we arrived there, the most random thing happened. Like, we go to enter the little premises of the Lotus Lake, and out of nowhere, like completely nowhere, this guy on a motorbike comes speeding. I didn't see him, like I turned my head and that's when I saw him. So me and this guy from Bermuda, this expat, like, if we would have not noticed that motorbike coming speeding, and that he actually crashed into a tree, if we would have not seen that motorbike, I wouldn't be here right now. Like, I don't know if the guy was drunk. I don't know how it happened. Like, just turned my head, 2 seconds, guy crashes into a tree. His whole front wheel of his motorbike, front tire, smashed into the tree. And I think that's what saved him, because he just like shrugged it off and buggered off before we'd say anything. But damn, that was like, I thought I looked death in the eyes that day, because just turn my head, you see a motorbike like right in front of you. Where I put my iPhone right now filming me, that's where the motorbike was. And in general, lots and lots of scary experiences driving motorbikes here in Vietnam. And I keep saying I won't do it to myself, but I keep doing it. At least I try to be careful these days. Like, I'm not sure if you can see this, but yeah, here's just one of the scars that I have from 3 or 4 accidents. 3 accidents that I had here in Southeast Asia. Alright, so story number 4. This one I wasn't sure if I wanted to share because, I don't know, it's a touchy topic, but whatever, let's talk about it because it needs to be said. So this happened in Poland, in Warsaw, Poland. This was when I just started traveling and I didn't have money. As you guys know, I wasn't supported by my parents. I grew up in boarding schools and shit. So I gotta stop saying and shit. I grew up in boarding schools and such. And so basically I discovered that there's flights from Tel Aviv. There were flights back in BC before Corona days. There were flights from Tel Aviv to Warsaw for $10, $20. So I thought, hey, let's make a trip in under $100 round trip, you know, like everything included. So what I did at the time, I went on Couchsurfing, and Couchsurfing is this app, social network kind of thing where you can host people in your house, people can host you in their houses. I've done it in various places around the world. even in some of my videos, you'll see like in Romania, in the city of Arad, Gabriel, that guy was from couchsurfing, and also in Iraq, Halat, if you remember him, I met that guy on couchsurfing. And yeah, lots of amazing experiences, but this is why I don't recommend couchsurfing and I don't talk about it in my videos. Hello. So the way I planned this trip, So the way I planned this trip is I would arrive, do couchsurfing for 1 night or 2 nights. Then I was gonna board a bus to, this is another way of traveling for free basically for hardly any money. This little English teaching program where you stay in a hotel for free in rural Poland and you teach kids English essentially. Well, it's more like having conversations with them. You're not actually teaching. But yeah, if your English is native level or you're a native speaker, you just go, you stay in this hotel, you meet lots of cool people and hang out with them and teach English to teenagers. So my first night when I just arrived in Warsaw was amazing couchsurfing. I stayed at this woman's house. She was really cool, like she's traveled to all these countries and she took me on a hike in the mountains. I'll show a picture of that. And also we went to a friend's birthday party. I don't know, drank hot Polish wine. Good time. Went to the volunteering thing, came back to Warsaw, and then I had a not so good experience on couchsurfing. Now it ended well because, you know, I can take care of myself, I'm a guy, but this is why I don't recommend couchsurfing to people, because stuff like this can happen and it's very real. So I stayed at this guy's house. He declared on his profile that he's a gay nudist. When I got to his house, he was nude and all. And long story short, he was very provocative and he asked me to be naked too in his house. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, and then he tried to, you know, like, he would be very touchy while making jokes. I don't know, make a joke, then slap me on the Johnson. I was just like, yo man, cut out this bullshit or I'm leaving. But I'm pretty sure that he's harassed people. And yeah, couchsurfing can be amazing, where you, really amazing truly, where you meet locals and you do local things and you see the country from the perspective of a local, like you saw my videos in Romania and Iraqi Kurdistan. But couchsurfing can also be, just be careful. If you decide to do it, be very careful, because if I was, I don't know, a smaller guy, or even if I was a girl and this was happening with a guy, and I've heard many stories from female travelers that stayed at a man's house and he was very invasive and touchy. So yeah, that's another dangerous, sketchy experience. Now, as we go into number 5, let's walk along the scenery here. Number 5, this was the most scared that I've ever been on any of my trips. So I actually got this on camera. This was in my trip to Erbil, Iraqi Kurdistan. And basically what happened, I don't know if you've seen that video or not, but I was telling people, hang on, that I'm an Israeli Jew, to see their reaction and to see if people care or not. And if you've seen the video, you'll know that most people don't actually care. The last 2 guys, I don't know if you could tell in that video, but I was sure that they were gonna kidnap me, like 100%. And I'll tell you why. These guys were not Kurdish. They were Arabs from Mosul. As soon as they met me, they started saying things in Arabic, and they said the word Israel a few times and laughed. And that's why I didn't put subtitles on that part, because I wanted you to see what I was experiencing, because I don't really understand Arabic too well. And then after they were laughing and saying Israel and all, they invited me to come with them to the resort to hang out. I mean, this was through Google Translate. Their English wasn't too good. There were kidnappings of foreigners at that time in Erbil. And also, you know, what better than an Israeli Israeli jewel, I don't know, an Israeli guy to kidnap. If you'll notice, when I was filming that part, then I just kept a distance. I was ready to run, and I was texting my friends like, listen, if I don't come back, you know, I love you and shit like that, because I thought like, yeah, it's over, you know, like it was fun and games, this trip in Iraq, my time is done. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's something a little bit different, but my plans to travel this week were thwarted to make a little travel video. It was raining the day that I could travel, and I'm working a full-time job while running this channel. I think this is the end of the line here. So thank you for watching. If you want to help support my channel and enable me to make videos full-time and make more travel videos and get better equipment and all, there's going to be a link to my Patreon in the description. I make exclusive videos there as well, all sorts of little travel tricks and hacks. I hate when people say that, hacks. Yeah, if you'd like to chip in a quid or two, I'd be forever grateful. That's about it. I love you.